Hi everyone, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, share, subscribe, give a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and share it with someone else if you believe they can benefit from it. I'd appreciate that. You and I, Empaths, Chosen Ones, we could never imagine, even being awakened, some of the things that, and the tactics, and the level and the depth that narcissists go to hurt, harm, and destroy people and their lives. But start imagining it, because we've seen it, we've experienced it, and it happens. We're no longer living in wishful thinking. And the more you imagine it as you have experienced it and some of the stuff you haven't experienced, just imagine some of the movies you look at, some of the movies that have depictions of over-the-top violence, gruesome dismemberments and stuff like that. That is a physical harming, that's a physical maiming, that's a physical dismemberment of people, that's a physical destroying a person. So look at that as the narcissist doing it without putting a hand on you. Internally, if someone destroys your state of mind, destroy your self-esteem, destroy your confidence, destroy your finances, which is on the outside of you, the finance part, it doesn't take long before the body dies, because you have no will to live. You have no will or desire to go at that thing as you did before. You feel hopeless, helpless, defenseless. It is sad that we have to compare and contrast these things, but it is something that I believe the Almighty God has afforded us, because what it does, and it should do, is keep us mindful of the fact that rattlesnakes exist on every corner. And in order to have the anti-venom, you have to have the awareness, the education, and basically you have to listen to your intuition. You know, I've been reading lately, there are several cases where mothers have destroyed their children from the inside out. They've caused physical, emotional, psychological harm to children. They have deprived them of food. They've deprived them of the livelihood of a normal child. Many of them have shackled, chained, and handcuffed their children in rooms and closets for extended amounts of time, days and weeks. Just recently, I read a story about these twins. I have twins, a boy and a girl. They escaped, and this is a black woman. They escaped because they snuck the key from her purse that she would often handcuff them with and put it in her purse. They somehow or another snuck it out of the purse, and they would share and exchange, holding it in their mouths for hours, until they were sure mother left, and they would unshackle themselves just so they could get to the bathroom and defecate and urinate. And a lot of times, if they were not able to be unchained and unshackled, if she took that purse or whatever, they would, because they had to put it back, she would starve them. They would defecate and urinate where they were shackled, and the mother would force them to do, you know what, consume it. This is a story that happened in 22. Even with my awareness to some of these things with the World Wide Web, there's so much going on. It's a beautiful thing that we have this awareness. There is no reason why we shouldn't gravitate towards these stories. I often say unlatch from these blockbuster movies where all this atrocious violence and grim, gruesome stuff, because what it causes you to do is normalize things when it happens in real life. Chase these stories. And I'm not attacking or targeting women, but women are maternal. Women are nurturers. I'm for safety and welfare of the children. If I should talk more about women than I do men, so be it. You have a responsibility just as much as a man does. And when it is found that a man is in error for lesser, way lesser, he is penalized more harsher. And often mothers, in some of these cases, have their kids given back to them. This BS should stop, will stop, and with every breath in me, I'm going to be a part of this change. And so these kids, these twins, escaped, and they knocked on one or two doors, and it's parallel of the story of Hillebrand and this other woman that happened here just last year, I believe it was, or this year, or last year. Same parallel. Put him in a dungeon-like captivity type situation. Little boy escaped. He knocked on several doors. The first two attempts, nobody would come and answer the door and let him in or attain or entertain what he was talking about. So he didn't give up. He finally got a man to come out, and he talked to him through his door camera, and you can go on YouTube and see this. It's heartbreaking. So in the parallel of these two twins, these black twins, boy and a girl, you could see them come to the door, almost deja vu type thing, emaciated, same thing, starved, 100 pounds, 14 years old, I believe 15 years old. My twins are 15. And so they are let in, and of course the authorities are called, and the atrocious stuff that they found, the house of horrors that they found, all of the things that they had no idea that were happening, all the things that you could never imagine that was happening were happening, straight out of a horror movie. And you think Kathy Bates hitting the guy on the knees and breaking his legs so he could finish writing that book in misery. You think that is the worst it could get. This is psychopathic behavior. And so I have her name, but I don't want to get into all that. If you care to know, just go and Google it, and it'll pop up. It'll pop right up. Happened in, I believe, Louisiana. They moved or somewhere. So I guess my point is, we couldn't imagine these things before social media became so widespread and available for us to just tap in and get this kind of information. It was happening nonetheless. We just knew nothing about it. We didn't know it was so much on a grand scale. And you've heard similar stories of this. And so what I wanted to do in bringing this story to the forefront and paralleling it with the Hillebrand story was that the Hillebrand, which wasn't the mother, but I just remember Hillebrand, she was the lady who coerced the mom with the 8 kids to come under her helm of I can get your kid in check. And they hide behind religion and the Bible, but they don't live it. They just use it to hide behind. And so the parallel of these twins, these black twins, is that this mother also had a TikTok YouTube channel. And from all accounts, you would think that these were a happy family. But there became a time when some people in the comments were looking in the background at some of the kids, and they would see the children sure do look thin. You know, they would make comments like that. They look like they're starved. And these people were intuitive enough. And I don't even know if it had anything to do with intuitiveness. It was just, I guess, following this lady's page, people start paying attention to things, all things not normal. And often this is empaths and chosen ones. We look at things in a very observation way, in a very strong observation way. We don't just look at what's in front of us. We are drawn to a lot of things that most people just don't pay attention to. And so this is most often, commented on this. Chosen ones, empaths. They picked up on it. Not to mention some of this stuff was just in your face, but it was masqueraded and it was, it was dumbed down by all of the dancing and jumping around. They gave the illusion, and this is what happens when narcissists are doing their dirt. They will present to you what they want you to see. But if you are paying attention, they often show you more than you're supposed to see, because they're very reckless. They were so consumed by the likes and the shares and the thumbs up till they just got laxed. They didn't think, wow, I'm not feeding my children. I'm locking them up all up until the point of record, and I let them out to do a little TikTok dance. Then I shackle them back in the storage closet. This parent and her boyfriend, they would go on trips. Leave these kids for weeks on end. I'm not talking about leaving these kids for a couple hours. Not to say that that's okay either. My kids are 15. I can leave them for a few hours. They're responsible enough to be left here, but I wouldn't shackle them up. I wouldn't even tell them stay in your room. And so this is very, very heartbreaking. Those stories were, but the thing is, it's heartbreaking, period, because what we see and know now as empaths and chosen ones, we can't unknow it, we can't unsee it. Whether we read stories like this or not, we see the subtle things in what the narcissist does on a daily basis. When we're out and about, if you're awake, if you're truly awake, you see things that are undeniably very narcissistic. You see things that are undeniably very cluster B. You don't even have to hang around long enough to determine 8 or 9 traits. These people jump out at you, man. They jump out at you. They lurk in the covert. We can even see how they're moving about. They're volunteering in this or that and the other. They're always down at the church. But when we see them in our neighborhood, such as I do, some neighbors, I can see how they move. They're very isolated in their movements. But their body language tells me all I need to know. A lot of us empaths and chosen ones are very isolated. We're very guarded. But the difference is we don't have that aura around us. It all boils down to the aura and the energy that emits off of us and what emits off of them. And many times it is only empaths and chosen ones that see this. You may have someone that may not so much be chosen or an empath to a strong degree, but even they may comment on something. But it'll be very, very off the top of the dome. It'll be something just like in your face. But what you'll see, they will quickly abandon that thought. They will abandon that comment like it's no big deal. But in even speaking that to an empath and a chosen one, we retain that. Because if we didn't see it and they saw it and they brought it to our attention, we retain that. And we don't go around snooping and looking for other problems to constitute or to draw that conclusion on whether that person is cluster B or a narcissist. But in the moving around and interacting with that individual or seeing that individual time and time again, we began to observe and hone in on some movements that just don't look normal. They don't look healthy. They don't look or behave like a human's supposed to. Matter of fact, they act and behave in every way that we have seen many times before. And that's what it really only boils down to. We can observe, we can physically see, and we can draw a strong conclusion off of just the way a person is moving, just the way that person's energy is emitting from them. All of this lack of eye contact, all of this superficial mumbo jumbo, in the way that they don't want to really deal with self. Everything that they talk about, everything in their whole dialogue has nothing to do with them. It's all about what they have done, and it's all about trying to bring attention to themselves by way of their accolades. This is just one of many things that will jump out at you as an empath, and you'll be able to see that this is not the way that a healthy, normal person is. How do you know a healthy and normal person? You're it. You're it. You can be the measuring stick. You can be the good you want to see in the world. Don't expect this world to get better. It's going to get worse. But that doesn't mean you got to get worse. This is a self-absorbed, self-centered world we're living in. And in a big way, there are so many things that are pulling towards even good, well-meaning people that are telling us wrong is right and right is wrong. It doesn't take a genius to know that some of the things that you grew up believing in weren't bad. They weren't bad at all. They were the things that caused you to maintain your civility, maintain your character, your self-respect, your integrity, those things that are never mentioned. They don't even mention that in campaign, on the campaign trail anymore. They play on the emotions of the people. And most often it's pitting one group against another. Isn't that how a narcissist does it? They're not lifting anyone up. They're giving the people who they want to believe under the illusion that they're for you. We're for you. This is what we'll do. We won't take this from them or those group of people. We're going to change things. So we, meaning you, the gullible ones, believing in the illusion. We have to be well trained in what we hear. And we have to imagine some things that we'd rather not imagine, to the depth of how evil a person can actually be to try to destroy, hurt, harm someone else. It's not just getting you fired. A lot of times it's ruining your whole existence. And in many cases, it's making you disappear for life, permanently. Before I leave, Tiffany Henyard is out. She's not the mayor of Dalton, Illinois anymore. I can't wait to follow this, I don't want to say saga, this sick, twisted journey she's about to go on, because undoubtedly, cluster B. And I can't wait for an indictment for her. Although people like this, they already know that they're not going to serve any real jail time for the atrocious stuff that they've done. These are blue-collar crimes, white-collar crime, whatever you call it. If it's on a federal level, they'll get probation. And whatever kind of federal time they get won't be 10, 20 years like most people in normal society get for lesser. So if you don't know who Tiffany Henyard is, Google it and just see some videos of her talking, and you will be able to know right away what I'm talking about, how you can observe and determine what is not right and not well with some people. And you can tell that cluster B when you see it. That being said, bless.